Back in a cozy neighborhood in upstate New York, lived a man named Thomas Reeve. Thomas, a 38-year-old freelance graphic designer, had hit a wall. The passion that once fired his creativity had turned into sluggish afternoons and prolonged blank stares at his laptop screen. No matter how hard he tried to concentrate, his thoughts kept drifting. Even during conversations, he found himself zoning out, unable to follow through. One chilly evening in early autumn, as leaves rustled outside his window, Thomas made a bold decision. He needed to change. And not just a little. He needed to sharpen his mind, rebuild his focus, and reclaim the fire that once made him thrive. The next morning, Thomas reached out to an old college friend, Dr. Emily Foster, a cognitive psychologist known for her research in neuroplasticity and cognitive behavior. Emily, now in her 40s, had a calm but confident aura and was well respected for her practical approach to mental wellness. When Thomas explained his struggles, Emily nodded thoughtfully and told him something that stuck with him for weeks. "Your brain is like a muscle, Tom. The more you challenge it, the stronger it gets." With her guidance, Thomas began incorporating 7 simple yet powerful brain exercises into his daily life. Emily didn't prescribe any medication or ask him to overhaul his entire routine. Instead, she introduced brain-boosting habits that gradually improved his concentration, memory, and mental stamina. The first thing Thomas learned was the art of focused breathing. At first, it seemed trivial, sitting still, closing his eyes, and following his breath in and out for a few minutes. But Emily explained that breathwork calms the nervous system and increases oxygen supply to the brain, helping it function more efficiently. Every morning, Thomas sat on his balcony, sipping green tea while practicing deep breathing. In just a week, he noticed a shift: less tension in his shoulders, a steadier heartbeat, and a mind less cluttered with scattered thoughts. Next, Emily introduced the concept of mental visualization. She told Thomas to picture his goals vividly, like he was already living them. So before each design project, he would close his eyes and imagine the end result: happy clients, vibrant colors, clean layouts. This mental rehearsal primed his brain for focus and execution. It was subtle, but it worked. His productivity surged, and clients started noticing a difference in his work. Emily then challenged Thomas with memory games. She recommended simple exercises like trying to remember grocery lists without writing them down or recalling 5 things he saw on his walk. At first he found it frustrating, but he pushed through. Eventually, his memory began to improve. He could recall conversations more clearly and started winning small trivia contests at the local coffee shop, earning him both confidence and smiles from the regulars. Journaling came next. Every night before bed, Thomas would sit with a worn leather notebook and jot down the day's events, his thoughts, and 3 things he was grateful for. This helped organize his mind and filter out mental noise. Emily explained that writing activates several parts of the brain simultaneously, improving both comprehension and retention. Over time, Thomas found his sleep improved and his morning grogginess faded. Then came brain-friendly physical movement. Emily reminded Thomas that a sedentary lifestyle dulls cognitive performance. So, he began incorporating 20-minute walks after lunch, sometimes switching it up with yoga or light jogging. The movement, paired with exposure to natural light, brought him a sense of clarity. During those walks, ideas would flow effortlessly. He even started keeping a small voice recorder to capture inspiration on the go. Another powerful habit Emily instilled was the power of learning something new. She advised Thomas to pick a skill outside his comfort zone. He chose to learn the basics of Spanish. He practiced vocabulary each day, watched Spanish shows with subtitles, and even joined a local language group. It wasn't just about the language. It was the act of stretching his brain in unfamiliar ways. This cross-training effect improved his problem-solving abilities and made his thinking more flexible. Lastly, Emily introduced what she called digital detox windows. These were small blocks of time during the day when Thomas would disconnect completely. No phone, no laptop, no screens. Initially, it felt unnatural. But soon, Thomas noticed he was more attentive in real-world conversations and more present in his environment. These moments of silence became sacred. They gave his brain the breathing room it needed to reset and recharge. 3 months passed, and Thomas wasn't the same man. His eyes carried a sharper gleam. His work became more inspired. His conversations more engaging. Friends and clients began complimenting him on his clarity and energy. He was still the same Thomas Reeve, but now a sharper, calmer, more resilient version. One evening, as he sat across from Emily at a downtown cafe, sipping herbal tea and laughing about their college days, he said something that resonated deeply with her. "I didn't realize how much noise I had in my head, Em. These exercises didn't just boost my brain, they gave me myself back." She smiled and nodded. "That's the beauty of it, Tom. The brain doesn't need miracles. It just needs a little attention and intention." Inspired by his transformation, Thomas decided to help others. He began speaking at local workshops, sharing his journey and the simple practices that had changed his life. People connected with his story, not because he was a neuroscientist or a monk, but because he was a regular person who had once felt lost and overwhelmed. At one such event, he met Julia Miller, a high school teacher struggling with burnout. Thomas gave her the same tools Emily had shared with him, and within weeks, she began to feel more grounded. Her students even noticed the shift in her energy. Soon more people joined in. A ripple had begun. Thomas eventually compiled his experience into a digital journal, combining personal anecdotes with neuroscience-backed strategies. He called it Mind Forward, simple practices for a sharper life. It wasn't flashy or filled with jargon, just real, applicable advice for people looking to reclaim their mental strength. Years later, when Thomas looked back at the moment he first reached out to Emily, he realized it wasn't just about regaining focus. It was about awakening. In a world filled with distractions, quick fixes, and endless scrolling, he had chosen presence over pressure, simplicity over chaos. What began as 7 simple brain exercises turned into a lifestyle, a movement, and a legacy. And the beauty of it all, anyone could start. All it took was one decision, to honor the mind and give it the nourishment it deserved.